My name is Mark Hurt, and I am a software consultant here with Mirabel Technologies. I wanted to welcome everyone and thank you for attending our number 2 webinar in a series of webinars we'll be having every couple of weeks. During today's webinar, we're going to be looking at some administrative functionality as well as some template things, as was stated on the outline of the webinar. It's going to be kind of a free flow format with some focus in some specific areas. One thing I do want to start out with and let you know, just with kind of the webinar business, is that remember here in the help system, we've added the webinar section here, and we have 2 sections for past webinars and upcoming webinars. Past webinars, we're going to have the link to the webinar Q&A here that we have here, and it's going to open up a document, a Word document with all the questions and answers that we've seen that will have been submitted during the webinar. We don't have it here yet, but we do have a video coming that this watch link will be hyperlinked. Just a moment, please. All right, I think everyone can see my screen now. Sorry about that. Again, we are here in help, in the help system under webinars, the upcoming webinars and past webinars. The webinar Q&As, as I was just talking about here, is a document I've made available with the questions and answers that were presented during the webinar. Also in the help, we're going to have a link for you to look at the upcoming webinars, and today's upcoming webinar, a link here to sign up for it. We'll have future upcoming webinars listed here below, so you can, at your convenience, sign up for the webinars at any time. As I was discussing on the past webinar, the watch link here is not enabled yet. I'm going to be putting up today's webinar video as well as the last webinar video at the same time, and should be up by the end of this week. I appreciate your patience, and I know we've had requests for it, and it is coming. So I wanted to just go over that with you here. I also want to remind you, while we're here in help, that Mirabel Technologies, we have invested a lot of time and resources in a series of videos covering sales, management, administration of your website, as well as digital studio videos for our users who have delved into the digital studio for flat plan, digital pagination, and your digital editions. There's a QuickBooks video if you're curious about the Web Connector and QuickBooks. We have a lot of different videos in here that are going to be helpful. All of these videos are around 4 to 6 minutes. We don't want to go into covering too many different topics with each video. We're keeping all the videos specific to a given topic. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and log into our consultant site here in the Magazine Manager. And in the site here, I did want to remind you of one other thing before we get into new content today, and that if you happen to receive an error message or a bug or some odd behavior in the Magazine Manager, I want to encourage everyone to be sure up here in the right beside your help button here in the upper right-hand corner, there's a create a support ticket button here. And whenever you create a support ticket, you want to make sure that you fill out all of the information here, this asterisk. And one of the really important pieces of information is the category. Whenever you select a category for your help ticket, be sure to indicate the type of error it is, if it's an error, or if you're requesting data services to have some information imported for you, or have some data cleaned up maybe, or any other programming request for Flex reports or other development, maybe even a wish list request. If you'd love to see the software do something, put it on the wish list request, and it gets worked into the analytical phase of considering future development for our software. As well, you want to be as descriptive as possible. If you received an error message or are experiencing a buggy condition, you want to type in this box here as much information as we need to be able to put ourselves at the same point in the same moment you were when you experienced this bug. What customer, what client were you working with? Were you trying to enter a proposal or contract, or were you running a report? What parameters did you select? You want to be as descriptive as possible so that we can reproduce that error without having to ask any further questions. What's also very helpful is if you attach screenshots. We like to see screenshots, take pictures of the screen and attach up to 3 different screenshots to help us see what's happening on your screen. So just wanted to kind of give that a quick review before we get started today. So today, I'm going to start out, when you log into the Magazine Manager, you have your quick link area over here, your created link, and this week's events all set up over here. If you're an administrator or if you're an end user, you can note that these items here are customizable. You can turn these items on or off based on the client's request. And to do this, you would go up here to the Management menu and go into the Employee Editor. And within the Employee Editor, you go per employee, and we'll just take my name here, and we'll customize my area. You can go within the Employee Editor to this hyperlink here that says Edit Site Display Options right here. And these site display options are actually, I'm going to move this here so they'll correlate a little bit. The left sidebar, Customer Search, Company Name, first and last name, or search rep. These are these three items here. You can turn these items on or off by clicking these check boxes. You may not use the production run sheet that much because your user's a sales rep. So you can turn off the quick link production run sheet and maybe my proposals. We don't want to see a link for proposals. We never, and you could say, you know what, my user never uses these created links. Let's clean up the area a little bit. So we can turn off those created links. Once you've made the changes, simply press Save, and then press Save Information here to save the Employee Editor record. And so now when we refresh our web page, and I'm pressing F5 on my keyboard to refresh the web page, this interface is now built without all of these items that we once saw before. There are no created links here. You don't see my proposals, and you don't see some of these other features that I turned off. Okay? So that's a nice little way to customize your experience. I'm not sure if you guys got to see or if you're familiar with the customer dashboard. This is a pretty new tool that we put on all your sites. And with this tool, with the customer dashboard, what you can do is search by a client's name. So we're going to look up 360 Bike Studio. And for this client, all of these different widgets are going to populate. And with these widgets, you'll see proposal data. You'll see sales figures, last year, current year, previous year. You'll see a lot of pie charts about how the monthly sales are distributed for this client. Coming on down here, you can also see sales by year, total sales, contracted sales here. And then this is this box right here that I'm moving around a little bit, this is the last activity date area. This is really good to see how long has it been since I made a note on this client record. How long has it been since we've scheduled a meeting or had a callback, or maybe contracts? When's the last time we wrote a proposal or contract or invoice information? This is a really, really nice widget to have. Now, as you noticed before there, you can actually pick up and click and drag these widgets and rearrange these widgets and move them around. Let's say I don't want to see this particular pie graph of the sales by month. You can simply click the X button here and get rid of that widget. And you can customize the screen to see anything you want. Now, you may say, well, how do I get this customer dashboard? I don't have it on my screen when I log in. What you would do is you would go over here to the right-hand menu, and any user can do this. This is not an administrative function. You come in here to the right side menu, and you come under the Site Setup area here. And within the Site tabs, you'll expand the Site tabs. And this Customer Search is the last option here under the Site tabs. Simply turn that on first and press Save so that this tab will be here. Now, once this tab is added, you have to then go and add all these widgets to the tab. By default, none of these widgets are actually in the tab. So what I like to tell people to do is to go into the Site Setup. Once you add the Site tab, let's go to the Widgets pane. There's a screen here to be able to add widgets to your different panes. And all of these widgets in the first section here, the Customer Dashboard, they're all going to say this Select a Tab. And what you do is you simply go down for each one of these widgets and you select Customer Dashboard, all the way down, Customer Dashboard, until all of these widgets in the Customer Dashboard section say Customer Dashboard. And I'm going to turn back on these widgets I just turned off. And then we'll save these changes. Once these changes are saved, your screen will refresh. You'll have your customer dashboard now, and you have all the widgets here, and you can move them around, delete the ones you don't need, and continue to customize this area. One more thing to show you about this area, when you look up the the client 360 Bike Studio, and you see this, and you've got some information on here that leads you to need to take action on this client. You've got a button right here beside the search that lets you go straight to the customer record. Jumping right to the company record, you can go in here, add contracts and proposals, and do anything else you need to, make any notes or anything on the customer record here, okay? Switching gears a little bit from the individual user customization, this next topic is really geared toward the site administrators, but if you're not a site administrator, this is important for you to understand too, so that you can go back and help your site administrator sharing this information with them. In the website setup we have here, there's this area for site-wide defaults. One thing that people have set up or may not know about are these limitations for displaying information on the run sheets, allowing proposals, and allowing contracts based on a particular time frame and credit limit. Now let me explain a little something about this part here. These things work. This is what we call a compound logic statement. This means that two different conditions, this and this, must be true for this thing to happen. So let's take a look at do not allow contracts for customers over their credit limit, all right? And really over their credit limit and after so many days past due of their bill. I know that some of our clients, some of you guys don't actually track credit limit in the Magazine Manager. So to make this work, to make this trigger happen, is you would need to go into each of your client records, each of your customers, and set their credit limit on the Details tab. And let's go there real quick and let me show you where that is. You would need to set each of the credit limits to $1 in order to force that everybody's always over their credit limit the whole time. And then we'll look at the date constraint. So in the Details tab here on the customer account, there's a credit limit box here. What you would do is set all the credit limits to $1. Now, you may have thousands and thousands of contacts in your database, so I don't anticipate you're going to want to go into 1,000 customers and put a $1 credit limit. So what you can do is you can actually create a help ticket, come under here, do a data service request, programming request, and request that all current and future clients or advertisers or customers, I guess we could call it, have credit limits set to $1. All right? Do this, send this, make sure all this information is set up, and our support team will go into your site and set every client on the back end in the data table behind the scenes, set all these credit limits to $1. Okay? So that's going to force one part of this condition to be true. Don't allow contracts for people over the credit limit and who have an unpaid balance on their account more than so many days. Now, a good rule of thumb, what some people will do for the contracts, let's say, for example, if they're 60 days past due on their invoices, you may decide, I don't want any new contracts written on this customer until we get their account cleaned up. So you can set this to 60. If you want to be more strict, you can reduce this down to 45 days past due or even 30 days past due. If you want to be a little more lenient, make it 120 days. That is for not allowing contracts for customers over the credit limit and, let's say, 4 months past due on their unpaid balances. Now, there's also another option right above it. Do not allow proposals for customers over the credit limit, which will always be if you set it to $1, and who have an unpaid balance more than, and generally people like to make this number a little bit higher. Okay, we don't want anybody who's 2 months past due on their bills to get a new contract, but we don't mind them getting a new proposal. So we'll set this at maybe 90 days or 120 days. If they're, less than that old on their unpaid balances, then yeah, we can give them a proposal, but we're not going to convert it to a contract. Now, there's also this option here to display the credit limit or display this customer in red on the run sheet if they're how many days past due on their invoices. This is a good tool for the sales reps to be able to help manage their clients, their advertisers' receivable account. And you can set this to whatever number, again, you want here, 30, 60, or 90. Okay, so that's a really nice tool that was covered in Admin One training a long time ago whenever you guys first set up this system and maybe you didn't implement it fully by setting that credit limit to $1 or maybe just kind of forgot about it. So that's something really good that you want to remind your folks about, your administrators about here. Okay, I guess that's really all I want to look at here for the particular site setup and making the processes more efficient, more controlled based on your accounts receivable. The next thing I want to look at is closing an issue. Now, you might ask, well, what do you mean closing an issue? Where is it important? Why is it important? During the proposal process, when we create a new proposal, and I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly to get us to this point I want to look at. If you're not managing your open issues, whenever you add a line item, we're doing a print product, organic delights is fine. For this rate card, we're just going to go right on through two-page spread. This is the point that really is important here, closing, managing issues. If you've never closed your issues, then your sales reps are going to have to scroll down on this list to find the upcoming issues, 2013, 2014, May, June, July, whatever it is. So what closing an issue will do will remove these issues from being able to sell a new contract to that issue. Okay, it does not close the issue. It does not lock the contracts from invoicing, from changing the contracts, or I think changing, but from selling into a new contract. Locking or closing the issue will do this. So let me show you how to actually close the issue. I'm going to pop out of full screen mode here, go back over, okay. So to close an issue, this is an administrative function. You would go into Management, Site Setup, Website Setup, and you would come down here to the Add Sales Management area, to the area of closing an issue. I know we touched on this briefly during our initial webinar, but I wanted to look at it again and show you a few things here with that. These are all of your products that are issue-based products that are in your system, and you can expand these, and you can see all of the issues that are open. Now, if you look at all our products, we've got some products from back in 2012, 2013, and I have all these products, and if I had to go through every single product and close every single issue, I mean, look at this list. It's a pretty darn long list. Well, what you can do is you can select issues from within a range. So we can say all my issues that have happened up to the end of February, I want to select these issues in the range. So I'm going to choose select issue in the range, and the system is now going through, and it should be selecting, and notice here that it did. It automatically selected for all of our products, all the issues up until the beginning of March. And so we just scroll down the list and we see all these issues that are selected. That means all the issues that are not closed are upcoming issues, which is what you want to sell into with the contracts. So once you confirm that everything is selected correctly, you can close the selected issues here at the bottom. Okay. Now, if you want to see what issues do I have closed, or I really need to reopen an issue, just simply change the issue status to closed at the top. Now you see all of your closed issues, and you can come in here and pick a particular issue and reopen it for whatever reason you need to reopen the issue. Okay. So that's where closing an issue is important, and how to actually close issues. Okay, so that is the administrative setup and some administrative things that I wanted to throw out for you guys, just to give the admins a little meat. Here's some more stuff for administration and for sales. If you're dealing with barters and discounts and custom fields and packages, all right, all this stuff is about templates, how we can use our templates to work for us. The industry is moving more and more. A lot of our clients are moving more to selling package deals. If you buy you know, we'll give you a really good deal if you buy in our magazine and then our e-newsletter, and then maybe even buy into our website advertising. We want you to buy all these different things, and we're going to give you one package price. But we may not necessarily want you to see what we're billing and keeping track of internally, the cost of each of these line items. We just want to show you what the total package price is going to be. So here, just in the last couple of months, we've actually added a feature to the Magazine Manager that will allow you to hide particular proposal columns, items here. And what we're going to do, I'm going to go through and create a quick proposal for you and show you what it would look like and without being in package mode or us having a package proposal template. And then I'm going to show you how to change it to make it look like a package proposal template and actually show the total. So for our proposals, I'm going to create a new proposal here at the bottom, and we're going to use our Organic Delights proposal. And in this proposal, I'm going to start adding a couple line items. I'm going to add a print order and do our Organic Delights one product with our rate card. And we're going to sell a full page front cover. And notice when I change it to front cover, that rate card updates because that's a premium position there. And we're going to take in $1,000 of this ad in barter, okay? And so you would add barter here in $1,000. Some people have mistakenly adjusted the rate of the ad in the barter here on the second step under adjustments. But if you're actually doing barter, you need to enter the barter here in the barter area because it's still a $15,000 net ad, but we're receiving $1,000 of that payment in barter and $14,000 of that payment in cash. All right, so let's go ahead to the next adjustment screen. We're not going to really make any adjustments on this particular line item. And remember, using our probability percentage, all we need is a signature, 90%, so it'll show up in our forecasting report nicely. And we're going to accept the default billing discounts. And look at this. Now that I closed those old issues, now my next issue and going forward, they're going to be easy to select here. So I click and drag March to April and May. And it's saving our schedule. Here at the end, we have a little summary sheet, net, barter, and so forth. Now that we're done with this, we'll just take a quick preview of the proposal. Here's our proposal, Organic Delights. Here's our publication. Card rate of $15,000, net, barter $1,000. The amount due is $14,000, $3,000 in barter here for the total, $42,000 in cash, okay? So let's actually make this a package. So we're going to add some digital items to this. Okay, so our digital order, and we're going to do Action Tails digital product, selecting a rate card, banner ad, perfect. So we're going to give it the rate of $500. Okay, and then this ad is going to start April 1st to April 12th. So it's going to run for 2 weeks. And we're just going to quickly go through these items here. And it's going to save the schedule. And now we have a package of a full page and this. And it's a $45,000 package, but we don't want our customer to see how much is going to print and how much is going to digital. So when we view our proposal, we really want all of these amounts and all these things to go away, and we just want to show this information down here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the display setup here so that I can change this, and I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll show you how to do it on the base template and take an existing standard proposal template, save it as, and make it a, and what you're going to end up doing is making it a package proposal template. So you have two different proposal templates to select from the beginning. Now, once you're in here and you modify the proposal template, you want to go into the line item blocks area, and we're going to modify both the print and the digital line item blocks. The new feature that I was telling you about is this hide feature, and what we want to do is on each of the line items, we want to hide anything that has to do with money. So we're going to hide the card rate, any surcharges, any discounts. We're going to hide our net for that line item, and we're going to hide the barter for the line item. Okay? So the only thing that's going to be showing is the publish issue year, premium selection, things like that, and color. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Press save. Do the same thing for digital. We're going to go to the card rate, and we're going to hide that, hide the discounts, hide the surcharges, hide the barter, and hide the net. Press Save. Now let's view our proposal again here at the bottom, View Proposal. And now we see all these line items, the Action Tails banner, and all of these issues. And this whole thing is going to cost our customer $42,000. So now you hide from the customer the breakdown of the cost, and you can show them a package. So this will be your package. So if you like the way that looks, what you'll do is you'll go into, and this is an administrative function. The administrators you guys need to go into Management, Site Setup, Website Setup, and you don't have to rebuild everything from scratch. All you do is you go into your existing proposal templates, and let's go ahead and, this is the proposal template we use by default, Organic Delights, and we're going to open it. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go all the way to the bottom here, and we're going to Save As. And we're going to save this template as Organic Delights. I'm going to call it a package contract. All right, this is the contract we're going to use for our packages. We're going to save here, and then we're going to go in, because we like the way that looks, we're going to go into the line item blocks. And again, the difference where we were and where we are is that when you actually put together a proposal, and you may not have known this, and this is kind of what the webinars are all about, we want to kind of share things with you may not have known. As you're putting together your proposals here, you can go in and you can customize each individual proposal and turn things on, turn things off, make it display a little bit differently without affecting your base proposal template that all new proposals are created from. And to do that, you would just go to this Display Setup tab. You guys are used to this tab, this Line Items tab here, where you maybe change the sales contact of the sales rep on the proposal. But this Display Setup one here, this one is the one that lets you go in and customize this individual proposal, leaving the main proposal intact. That's the difference in that one and the one we're going to now in the Website Setup. This is the one that all future new proposals will be based off of. So again, in here, we go to, hang on a second here. So now we see this Organic Delights package contract. We come in here, we go to the line item blocks area, we go to the print line item blocks, and remember, we want to select all of the display fields that have anything to do with money, and we want to hide them so they don't appear on the line items, but everything will appear in the total. Now, notice this collapse one here, too. While we're here, I'm going to talk about a couple of different things. I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. We encourage people to put the collapse on a data item that may not always be on every proposal. The worst thing to do is have a proposal here with a column that has an empty column here. This is not the good one. Here we go. That has empty data in a column. You don't want to see a section and have nothing listed here in the sections. There is a feature called collapse that if one of these row items, if it doesn't have any data for this column, you can actually collapse it and it won't even show the column. A lot of people like to do that with surcharges and discounts. They like to collapse those because they don't want a proposal going out with empty surcharges or empty discounts and a client going, discounts, wait, what kind of discounts do you give? Give me a discount. So if they don't have a discount on the contract or the proposal, you can put that collapse feature on it. And if you're not given a discount or a surcharge, you can hide it. They won't even see that it's there. And we typically have our users, our clients, put the collapse on the section, on the premium position, on surcharges and discounts, on anything that is not necessarily going to be in each and every single contract. The other thing is that when you create custom fields, you can actually use your custom fields on your proposals and even in your invoice templates and all of your other templates. All of your custom fields that you put in your production custom fields are going to be available here on the right side, and you highlight it and you add it, and it adds it here, and you can move it up or down the list to have it showing left to right in your proposal template. So if you want something that you have as a custom field to show up, just simply find it over here, add it, and it's done. Again, only the production custom fields, your production custom fields, are going to be available here to show on your templates. I'm going to go ahead and remove this one because I don't want to do that one officially. So I'm going to save these changes here, and I'm going to make the same changes. And again, we are on our proposal template in the site setup. and I'm going to add the hide on the CPM, the card rate, collapse and hide the discounts, collapse and hide surcharges, collapse and hide the barter as well, because not every deal is going to have barter, and we're going to hide the net. So now in the future, whenever your sales rep wants to go in for this client and they want to create a new proposal, and you know up front, you know that you're going to be creating a package proposal, package deal, the first thing they're going to do, instead of selecting your normal proposal template, you're going to select your package contract template here, so that you know that all the line items here are going to be hidden as far as text is concerned. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new order, and we're going to create a new package order. In their package, they're going to be buying a year's worth of front covers. And one other thing I wanted to show you too, is a good time to look at it, are your different adjustments and rates. And people, I'm dealing with customers every day about tear sheets and the cost and the problem it is managing tear sheets and stuff. The industry is also moving towards, if folks want tear sheets, that it's going to be built in as a surcharge or an upcharge on their ad, that if you're going to require that maybe a complimentary subscription or something like that is not okay or enough, that you insist on a tear sheet, we're going to actually charge a premium or charge a surcharge for the tear sheet. So in this particular order, I'm going to charge $50 premium surcharge for the tear sheet, and then I'm also going to adjust the rate down. I'm going to take it down $2,000 because this is one of our VIP customers, and we've just negotiated a rate. I need to apply a $2,000 adjustment per issue, per insertion. Press Next again. I'm the sales rep, going to the default billing contact, and we're going to buy through the rest of the year. Press Next. And the next part of my package I'm going to put together is a digital portion of the package. And I'm going to do something a little bit different because I'm a little ahead of schedule. I may have gone a little fast. I've got access to you guys, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you, I'm going to actually take questions from the audience. So if you'll raise your hand, I'm turning on the raise hand feature. If you'll raise your hand, I'll take your hand and we'll take the question. I won't promise you I'll answer every question, but I want to give you a chance to ask some stuff. Keep your questions, please, related to specific topics that we're dealing with today, and I'll go over those questions today. If it's something completely unrelated, you can anticipate that I will not answer that question. All right, so if you have a question specifically about how to implement or do some of the things that we're working on here, I'll be happy to take a question regarding that here in a few minutes. You can also continue to type your questions in so they can become part of the webinar record, and we can publish those for other people who weren't able to attend today. Okay. And this particular one has a date range, and again, I'm just selecting information just to put something together so you guys can see how slick and easy it is to create these packages. All right, we're going to add one more digital item. This time we're going to do a $20,000 impressions, $900, and we're going to do the date range here. The 20,000 impressions are going to be for this month. and we're finishing on up here. So again, here we are. We've created this nice big package, $130,000 package that we're going to sell the client. We don't want them to see, they're going to say for $130,000, well, why don't you just throw in this $900 digital demo since we're paying so much? We don't want them to see. We do want to track internally where the revenue is coming through for our business reporting, our business management, but we don't want the client to see how this how the revenue is distributed. They just know for all of these great things we're giving them, it's going to be $130,000. Okay, so this is what the this proposal, this package proposal looks like that you can give the client. And again, the secret to this is all about going into your website setup, going into your proposal template and the line items here, and putting this hide feature on anything that has to do, any line item element that has to do with money. Okay. All right, give me just a second here. I'm going to take a look and see. I'm not sure. All right, Heather, I'm sorry, Maria Hallington, I'm going to go ahead and take you off mute. Hi, Maria, this is Mark. You had a question?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'm going to unraise your hand. Thank you. All right, we'll go now to Pat Romatowski. Hi, Pat, you had a question?
Yes. This is wonderful being able to do the barters and all without exposing everything. We have a similar situation with sponsorships, and where we need also to show what we are gaining in a sponsorship. And I'm wondering if there's any way to incorporate that into the original proposal.
Sure. Is your sponsorship set up as a print item?
Well, it could be print. They're usually a combination of print and digital. Say there's a large event and we're doing a partial sponsorship and a partial sale.
Okay.
So we'll get some money. And we'll get our logo on all of the anything that they publish and mention in anything electronic, and we'll have a table for distribution and those kinds of things. And I'm wondering if there's any way to incorporate all of that into a proposal that they actually see what they're paying, what they're getting, and what we're getting out of the deal.
Okay, well, generally, with the clients that they've set this up before, is in that proposal, each of those line items, they'll be setting up the sponsorship or the event as a separate line item, along with the print order and along with the digital order, so that it all shows up, and that you can hide it all, so that they're paying for $20,000 for everything, but then in the back end, what the revenue is based on each of those sections by hiding it through a package proposal like this. So each of those items would be a separate product.
Okay, can we create a box or something on the proposal where we actually type in, here's what we're getting in the sponsorship package, as well as, of course, what they're oh, wow.
Well, you can. I think I know what you're saying.
If you're paying a sponsor.
You can, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually modify the proposal template, and you can actually come in here to the display setup, and you can add a box and add some text in here to this specific template if you want, and that won't be stored as part of a data element in the system. It won't be it won't be stored as part of a data element in the system, but it will be at least somewhere that you can make part of this contract document that they sign, and then when they scan it and sign it back to you, you'll be able to take care of that.
All right.
Okay.
And are we talking about?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. All right, Sean Cole. Let's take a look. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Mark.
You had a question, sir?
Yeah, I'm trying to use packages to simplify order entry. So I have 6 packages that each have a different list of insertions.
Okay.
And the package has one total price.
Okay.
So each package will basically have a different discount, but I don't want to have to enter the discount each time.
Okay. What we've done with this, Sean, is that what you will do is you'll create a dummy customer, and then build those packages on that customer. And then once you're ready to use that package with a new customer, you would go into this, let's say that this Bike 360 Studio is our dummy customer, and we want to pull up and one of these 6. So here's one of the 6 packages that you're going to see here. All you do is you're going to take the time up front to set up this package one time, 12 line items. And what you're going to do at the bottom here on the proposal menu is you're going to copy this proposal to a new client. All right, so you'll set up all 6 of these at one time, and you'll actually wind up, and they're never going to change too much. So you set up the basic package, and you copy it to your new customer. And then you don't have to rebuild it every time. You copy it to it. Now it becomes a package proposal for this new customer, and you make whatever modifications you need to, or you simply go to the print menu and you print it to a PDF or email it straight out to the customer. But
Okay,
that's how a lot of folks handle that. Thank you for your question. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I think it's Katie Gaffney. Hi, Katie. Caddy? Are you there? Can you hear me? You may be muted. I can't hear you. Okay, we're going to move on. Let's see who else we have. Wow, no other hands are up. If you don't know how to raise your hand, over in your GoToWebinar area, you're going to see a button on the left-hand side. Looks like a hand. You simply press that button to raise your hand, and I'm going to see your hand up, and I'm going to answer your question. All right, now we'll go to Kathy. Hi, Kathy. You had a question?
Hello, can
Kathy,
you hear me?
Yeah, Kathy McCartry. Yes, thank you.
I was wondering if you could go over how to set up the customer dashboard again.
I sure can, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute, but I'll definitely go over how to do the customer dashboard again.
Thanks.
All right. So in the customer dashboard, and this customer dashboard is at each user's level, and I'm going to go over it really fast this time. I'll have you re-review this webinar to get the details of it, but basically you're going to come over here to the right stuff, My Stuff area on the right side. You'll go into the site setup. The first thing you have to do is you have to turn on the customer dashboard. It's the customer search right here. Turn it on, press save, and then once you do that, you'll come into the widgets, add widgets to the panel, and all of these are going to say, they're all going to come up by default. It's select a tab. They're going to say select a tab. And you go down the line here and you select customer dashboard all the way down for all of these widgets that are in this customer dashboard section right here. And then you can go in and customize that and move those around, okay? All right, great question. Thank you. Sean Cole, your hand's up again. Hi, Sean. Hi, Sean. Are you there?
Hey, again. If nobody else is asking, I will.
That's okay.
Okay, so in my packages, there's sometimes 5 items of the same type.
Okay.
So a calendar listing. Do I enter that 5 separate times, or is there a way to do a multiplier?
A calendar listing for each month, a separate month on the calendar?
No, in my package, each month gets 5 calendar listings.
Okay. Is
So
that
for
one
space
client going to
planning,
buy all 5 of those?
It's included in the package that they purchased.
So you may then have an ad size called 5 listings as one ad size. It just all depends on how your products are set up. You can do it a number of different ways. Are they sold as a whole, all 5 or none?
No, so let's say that there's 10 items in the package.
Okay.
And 5 of the items are calendar listings. So there's a display ad, there's a directory listing, maybe there's a piece of editorial, and 5 calendar listings.
I would, without looking at your site, Sean, I would venture to guess that you would add each one of them, each 5 of them, because I mean, are they all going to be invoiced separately? Are they all going to be laid out potentially in Digital Studio separately, something like that?
Well, I don't use Digital Studio, but they would be ideally on the same invoice.
Okay. Without looking more at how you have your product set up, have your contract set up, I would be guessing at this point. Let me encourage you to reach out to your software consultant after this and help tweak that one particular area that you're trying to do there, because I'm not exactly sure the best way to approach it based on how your site's set up. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you. With a little more time, I do want to remind everyone here of the run sheets, of these sales run sheets. Whenever you search by the run sheets, of course, they do save all the information for you. Let's take a look at our upcoming sales run sheet for this issue coming up. Let me actually do Organic Delights. Let's do 2012 December. Something pretty cool there I want to show you. And Sean kind of reminded me of this when he said, let's see, December 2012, that he doesn't use Digital Studio. If you do use Digital Studio, what you're going to be able to see and what you're going to be able to have available to you here on these run sheets are the page numbers on which all these ads are placed. And you're also going to be able to have a thumbnail of the ad as it's placed in Digital Studio over here on the left. Okay? This information gets very easily populated. I'm just going to take a brief moment here just to go in and show you kind of how things look. If your production department isn't laying things out in Digital Studio, you can certainly come in here and we can look at the, and this is, again, not a training, but a very high-level overview, but this is how your flat plan looks in Digital Studio. All of your ads that are sold in your issue, they're all pulled over here straight from Magazine Manager. And so you just pick up these ads. I'm going to get rid of this one ad here. So what you would do is you would pick up the ad from over here in this inbox here, this half-page ad. You click it, drag it, and drop it, and after a few minutes, your entire issue is laid out. Once you lay everything out and your finished PDF pages come back from production, you can actually drag and drop and click and pull these pages into Digital Studio, and by putting them here is actually what causes them to show up over in the Magazine Manager side in that run sheet. Okay, and then from here you can even preview your digital edition if you want to preview your digital edition. You can get some analytics on the digital edition if you're running your digital editions. So just wanted to switch gears a little bit and kind of tell you a little bit about that. For those folks who are using Digital Studio or thinking about it, everyone, no matter if they're a Digital Studio user or not in your production department, they all have access to the Digital Studio flat plan here, and they have read-only access to what we were just looking at. So your sales staff can actually come in here and see, on what page did their ad appear, who are they beside, things like that. So that's really good, helpful information for you to be able to have in the system, and you can free up your production people's time to produce new issues without having to answer a bunch of questions what happened 2 or 3 months ago. These page numbers here also are not here by default. So whenever you go to your run sheet, your sales run sheet or your production run sheet, you can actually go in here and this is the case. This is true for any of these reports that are in the report suite, sales by rep, sales by product, sales by customer. On all these reports, you can actually hide and show different columns that appear in this report. So right now, our sales run sheet, we're looking at our product, our description, our sales rep. We can look at sections, any ad notes. We can also look at position, if there's a special position, and anything else, ad size. Oh yeah, ad size definitely needs to be there as well. Now, one thing to note, whenever you start customizing, turning on and off these page numbers and this different information here on your run sheets, one of the things to note is that you have to go here to the Options button and save the column setup. Otherwise, the the changes you just made will not be here the next time you come in here, okay? All right, let me see if we have any more hands raised right now. Anybody else has a question about anything that we're talking about today? Okay, don't see any more questions or hands raised. Okay, just a moment. I have one of my meeting facilitators here reading me a question. If you'll hold just a moment. Okay, so we had a question where I was before about how to actually customize the proposal template and how to customize the column layouts. I'll be happy to go over that with you one more time. This isn't just a moment. Okay, so I misunderstood the question. So there was a question here about how you can actually see 360 consultants. Yeah, let me get. So the question is, on our contracts page for our customer, when we look at the contracts here, can we see our contract or our proposal? What's really important is seeing, well, what all proposals do these contracts belong to? They could belong to various proposals. You can actually show your proposal ID here by clicking this on and turning this on, and this is not a great example because some of this stuff is older and was added before that. And you can also have your contract ID here as well. But again, the same thing here on your contracts page. Again, you click in the right area of any one of the column headers and go down to columns, and then turn on and off the different columns that you want to see when you look at your contract listing for your customer. Okay? Turn on and off barter, anything else like that. Again, the same thing is true here. When you customize your column layout for this page, you definitely want to save the column setup so that everything will look the same next time. All right, so I do have a question here from Patricia Strout. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Patricia. Oh, I just typed the question and I apologize. You had stated in one of the answers above that the pagination in the Digital Studio is included with your monthly hosting fees. So I was wondering if that pagination is what then lets you utilize the sales run sheet you were just showing, and what parts of Digital Studio are an extra fee.
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. So in Digital Studio, once you click and drag the insertion, the contract, we're going to go into here, into this particular issue. I've put all of these in here, so I'm just going to actually I'm going to unplace these. So whenever you're in Digital Studio and over here in Magazine Manager, these are all the contracts that are sold. Well, because this is an integrated system, for this issue, for our product, Organic Delights 1, our December 2012 issue, we know what contracts are sold in that issue. So these contracts are actually available here that you can click and drag. And by clicking and dragging and putting these contracts in here, this is all free. To digitally paginate, this is all absolutely free. There is no cost to this. You can even print your flat plan here. You can include size information on the printout. And you get your printout in color, and actually printing in color is a pretty new enhancement we just added about a month ago. It used to be in black and white, so this is now printed in color. And so this is all free. To paginate, digitally paginate is free. Where you will start incurring costs is when you start uploading these, what we call assets. Your assets are your pictures. These are your finalized, your finished PDFs that are actually produced in InDesign or produced somewhere else. And there's a file upload section here where you can actually upload these files into Digital Studio. And then you would click and drag those to the pages just like you did the insertions or the contracts. You would click and drag these over and put these on the pages. Once they're on the pages here, that's where the, in this run sheet, let me just go back to that to specifically address your question, that's what will make these items here appear in the run sheet. But whenever you click and drag the actual contracts to do your map out, to do your plan, this is what will will actually give the page number over to Magazine Manager. That's what populates this number, all right? So to upload these assets or these PDFs, they are 5 cents a page currently to actually place per issue per month. So if you've got a 100-page book, you're looking at $5 to place all of these ads or to place all of these finished pages and have them available here in your run sheet. Now, if you just think about the amount of time that your salesperson is taking, calling your production department, hey, do you have a tear sheet, or can I take a look at the page from a couple of months, or what's coming planned, or whatever, you know, you're going to spend a heck of a lot more than $5 in taking their time to research this information and find it, where if you use the system and at least get the pagination done where the page numbers show up, and even, you know, go to that very small expense of uploading the finished PDFs in Digital Studio, have them appear here, you've just saved yourself much more than $5 having that information readily available. So, so that's where that's one of the charges. Now, if you decide that, well, heck, I've already got my stuff here, I've got my pages uploaded, here's my preview of my digital edition, I might as well go ahead and publish a digital edition. You go to the Publish button here, and it says, hey, you know, you're going to be charged if you create a digital edition. You say, yeah, I want to create it. All you do is you populate a couple of these fields here. You select what category your magazine's in, what's the date. Do you want to package it for mobile devices? That's the Android app, the iPad, and also there's a Kindle app, I believe, available. And also the HTML version of this web page. You're going to be given a URL, a link that you can put on your website. Hey, check out our latest digital edition. Here it is. Click. The customer goes in. They read it. They get a similar interface, not exactly this, but an HTML reader interface. You press Publish, and you're done. You're published to all of those devices all over the place, and the publishing cost is 50 cents a page to publish. So for a 100-page book, it'll cost you $50 to put it on all of those devices, on most mobile devices, and your HTML, and you're going to have all this information, all these pages here available in the Magazine Manager side. So relatively inexpensive kind of thing. I know that there are free products out there that allow you to publish some digital editions, but you're going to have all of their other people's ads all around your product. You're not going to have a clean environment for your users to read and focus on your ads in your product that your customers paid for. You also won't, if you go that route, you won't have the ability to go in here and have these pages show up, and you won't have the ability to search. There's a really, really nice feature in here. It's the search feature, and what you can do, let's say, for example, you're trying to do a special something for BMW Motors down the street. You can search everything, your entire database of everything you've built in Digital Studio for BMW Motors, and it will list all the pages down here that they've ever been commented in an editorial, or they've ever been mentioned in an ad, and you can put together their own custom digital edition and keep it up for 1 or 2 months, a little 10-page book or 20-page book. Keep it up for a month or two for $2 or $3, maybe $5 at the most. Can you imagine the amount of revenue and the sales that's going to generate from that? To be able to return on that very small investment. So there are just a lot of really nice features that by using things over here and for the nominal cost, how they're going to return to you and sales and efficiencies, internal efficiencies. I mean, if I wish I could, sometimes I wish I could send an invoice out to our clients that says, you know, because you're not using this feature in Magazine Manager, you're actually costing yourself $2,000 a month. You know, instead of really not realizing that, you know, that's actually what you're spending, or the time efficiency you're wasting by not doing certain things in here. And that's one of the reasons we want to do these webinars, is to give you some insight into some things that people may not be aware of, or some common things, and just kind of give back a little bit and give you guys the opportunity to see. So that was a great,
Mark,
yeah, go ahead.
Do you mind if I just clarify one thing? So on the sales run sheet, you see everything else for free, you just don't see the PDFs loaded up on the left-hand side.
That's right. Whenever you upload this PDF in Digital Studio over here to show up on the run sheet over here, this is where there's that nickel a page charge per month for that. And again, you know, do your cost-benefit of analysis. You know, how much time are we spending researching, giving salespeople information when it could be readily available for a much lower cost here at their fingertips?
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Great
you.
question. Listen, it's 4 o'clock. I appreciate everyone's attendance and everyone's participation. We will be doing, just to let you know, our next one or two, maybe the next one coming up, we're going to be focusing specifically on sales, looking at a lot of really cool reports on making salespeople's lives more efficient, making information readily available to you. So I encourage you to make sure you attend, especially have your sales staff attend. We're going to be covering the mailing list wizard in that one as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.